Hello everyone, and I want to start the podcast differently this episode.
Oh, welcome to Faithful to the Traitors.
No, differently please.
Oh, okay,
Alex,
sorry. Yes, hello.
I want you to look into the camera and tell our audience that you are a faithful.
In the style of whom? Because I can do anyone. I could do in the style of Frankie. I am a faithful.
Isn't it interesting you can't be yourself, so I don't think you're a faithful.
I can do it in the style of
do
Freddy.
A Welsh accent.
I am a faithful. Poor Freddy. He can't lie. I'm wearing blue to commemorate Freddy tonight.
That's our political students.
Our political
of a
student.
certain side. We don't
Potential
know which side.
Tory, we don't know.
No,
but
no.
we
But it's fun to
can
say.
surmise. It's fun to say. It's fun to make a joke of it. It's fun to mock Tories, isn't it?
By the way, I'm Ben, and I actually am a faithful.
Welcome to Faithful to the Traitors, a podcast all about the Traitors, Series 3 UK. You didn't do any of that. It feels like...
Well, I was doing it differently, like Claudia. We're discussing the UK series, episode 3, semi-final.
We don't follow, we lead. So we don't do what Claudia does, we do what we do. We've already said we're not affiliated with the BBC. That Ed Gamble is nothing on us. Hello, I'm Alex. I am looking straight at the camera. I am also a faithful. And we are joined by Charlie, the producer cat, who can't keep his food down.
I know he's been sick twice today.
It's because of all the lies. Everyone keeps saying, oh, he's so faithful, he's so faithful. Is he faithful? Because as we're getting nearer to the final, he's getting sicker and sicker. The lies are consuming him from
Although
the
I
inside.
had to clean up Charlie, the
So
producer
did I.
cat's sick. Yeah,
Don't start this little
I'm
conversation.
not allowed to finish any sentences, am I, tonight?
Go on.
Traitor. And it then made me sick, cleaning up his sick, and it was just all very traumatic for me. So I was sick 3 times.
I remember when we used to look after dogs, and you couldn't pick up the dog poo. All I would hear from like the garden was,
I do. It makes me physically sick. Just looking at it, it's just too much. Anyway, people don't want to hear this.
No, they do not. Hello, everyone.
We just bought us a coffee.
Gosh, we just got another one as we were doing the podcast as well. Goodness
yeah, that's
me.
one you can read then.
Well, I thought you were sending me one already.
I have, but now you have to read 2.
Okay, right. So if you want to get in touch with us and talk about the Traitors, we would very much like to hear from you, because obviously the next episode is the final. So this is the penultimate episode. Email us, faithfultothetraitors@gmail.com. If you're watching us on YouTube, then search Faithful to the Traitors. You can find us by searching Faithful to the Traitors, and then you can comment on the video below. There's a comment whether you think Freddy was unfairly...
Red or blue?
Yeah, red or blue. Red or blue for Freddy. I was going to say something about the game, but now red or blue for Freds.
Lovely Freddy, bless him.
Ring the bell, follow us, and don't forget to subscribe. You can also subscribe on any of your favourite podcast apps, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and all those. If you want to find us on X, we're at Traitors Podcast. If you want to find us on Instagram, we're at Faithful to the Traitors. If you like the podcast, don't forget to share us with your friends. As I say, subscribe and share us on your social media. You can also help us by going to buymeacoffee.com/faithful, where you can buy us a silver bar, just like...
Caveat, please. We have got a message which isn't a silver bar, but I'm going to read it out anyway because I'm sure you enjoy it. This is from Thomas on Instagram. Listening to episode 10. I'm from South Wales, not far from where Charlotte is pretending to be from.
Okay.
The accent down there is very subtle in comparison to the stereotypical thick accent which the Welsh traitor had in previous seasons. Charlotte is actually doing the accent very well, I think.
Subtle.
I actually, since we said that, I have been trying to... I think I did hear it a little bit this episode.
I must say, I heard it a little
table,
bit this episode.
But still, I wouldn't... If I met her, I wouldn't think, oh, that's my accent, where are you from? It just sounds...
But I suppose
Charlotte.
You're right. There is subtleties in every accent. Like in Scotland, some people have a much... If you go to Glasgow, it's a much stronger accent than, say, if you went to Edinburgh, where it's a much more softer Scottish accent. So there's obviously different regions, different accents. The same with the UK all over. So we apologise if we have upset anyone by saying...
No, I don't think we've upset anyone. He's just letting us know.
No, I didn't think he had, but if other people had. Right, so one of
we
the...
love having a Welsh friend. Right, so...
Shall I go first? Because I got 2 and you got 1.
Yeah, okay. No, I got 2.
Oh, have you?
Yeah.
Oh, you go first.
You got 4 now because one just came in.
I'll do... Okay.
Shut up. Right, daughter of mum bought us a silver bar and said, delighted Joe has gone, see ya, loser. Simmering with rage about the betrayal of Queen Mina, although I saw the video where Mina and Joe look through the thing and find out who's a traitor, and he seemed really nice on that behind the scenes video.
Don't trust it. He knows the camera's on him.
There's my Joe nugget. for everyone. Joe Sandwich. Poor Freddy looks like he's bricking it. Yes, he did.
He did.
Doing it like, thanks for an awesome podcast. You two crack me up with your gentle yet cutting commentary.
That's one way of
Don't
putting
know
it.
what that means. If you get to the end of this message, please say hello to my daughter Iris, who loves your references to the Conspiracy Bros.
Hello, Iris. The Conspiracy Bros are still strong. We have Leanne and Jake. Leanne was obviously an honorary Conspiracy Bro, but Leanne and Jake are still in it.
Finals.
And fighting to the final, so good for them. Jess at Thoughtful Pause has also brought us a silver bar. Hello, Jess. And it reads, you guys are the first podcast I run to after the episode. You make me laugh, have the most astute observations, and the best producer around. Charlie. We'll let Charlie know. Charlie the best.
He's sleeping off his second sick of the day.
He's sleeping off his sick. Can't wait to hear your American coverage. Just to let you know, we are recording the American episode series 3 of The Traitors right now. There'll be 5 episodes out on Sunday. Sunday is the 26th.
Yeah,
Sunday is
going
26th.
well actually for an American series.
American series, pretty good series actually. Yeah. So can't wait to hear that. Even though it is the worst. Well, it's not the worst version, Jess.
Did you want to hear?
You?
I was literally peeing my pants.
That's a clue of what's going to happen on the American series.
Like.
Especially since you aren't familiar with the contestants. P.S. My cats are named Linda, Vivian and Ladybug. And I do not ride a bike to work. Let us know if you ride a bike to work. I always need to know if people ride bikes to work. And your 3 cats sound delightful, especially Vivian, because it reminds me of a character from The Young Ones.
Well, it reminds me of the Vivian.
Oh, or the Vivian.
Lovely drag queen.
May she rest in peace.
Right, so someone, no name. Again, make sure you put a name, people. Thanks for the podcast. This series, enjoy the final tomorrow. And then there's a confetti cannon emoji.
Thank you very much. We are very much looking forward to the final tomorrow. And Valerie has also brought us a silver bar. Thank you very much.
The press, this one.
Valerie, yes, just this second sent us one. And they have said, I love your pod, but I don't get a bus to work. Oh dear. Doesn't get a bus to work.
Good. I don't like buses.
Tickle Charlie the producer's tummy for me. Well, I will do, but he's a bit sensitive at the moment, so we'll leave it a bit. Due to life getting in the way, I'm buying a house, so I can't watch the final until Sunday. I do not know how I'm going to survive. Good luck with the sale or the buying of the house.
Move.
We know how we've done that 3 times, and we know how it is. So good luck with that, Valerie. And yes, well, on Sunday, you don't only have to listen to the final of the UK version. As I say, you can then binge the first 5 episodes of the United States version of Traitor Series 3 that we will be releasing at the same time.
And they'll be on iPlayer.
And they'll be on BBC iPlayer. So you have no excuse to not watch the American version and then listen to us straight afterwards. What I suggest is you watch episode 1 in the US, then listen to us, episode 2 and so on. You can binge them in one go if you like, but you do you, Valerie. Good luck with the house sale.
Right, so you ready to talk about the semi-final then?
I am.
We finally got to know what the big thing Claudia's been going on about for about 3 episodes.
Which is what we said it was going to be, the Seer.
Fringe.
Oh, of course, the Fringe, yes. No, the Fringe Festival. She should do her own show. It would be ironic. The Fringe at the Fringe. That's what she should call the show. You can have that on us,
Orange
Claudia.
Fringe.
The Fringe at the Fringe.
So yeah, we found that out.
Yeah, we're doing the Seer.
Sorry? I was going to say what we thought was going to happen happened. Leanne had the shield. Charlotte let Freddy write her name down. The first time we've seen someone come into the murder room to pick up their murder envelope and then say, I've got a shield and didn't get murdered. So that was nice.
Yeah, we've not seen that before, have we? I think it has happened in the past, but we've never seen the sequence of events with Leanne.
She saw handwriting of who wrote it, so that could be a clue if she was really
She
looking.
did, but I don't think she needed it. I think she was already on the kind of snooping game, knowing full well that Alexander and Freddy were the only 2 who didn't know about the shield, and this was the very beginning of the unravelling of Freddy. So
and Charlotte, kind of,
but Freddy really, because Freddy was straight away realised that he'd been thrown under the bus by Charlotte.
We did say last episode, we said Charlotte didn't think this through because the second they're at breakfast, Leanne's gonna, because Leanne, she's not two-faced, remember, so she says it outright like that. I told, there's 2 people here I didn't tell, but one of you is a traitor. They tried to murder me, and Charlotte was just like
But I think Charlotte felt like she was strong enough that she could just fight through it. Like, she didn't care. Like, she knew that Freddy was going to find out, so she just thought, you know what, it's going to be one long awkward day, but I can get through it just because I know I can get to
the trouble is
the
she
end.
doesn't know what he's going to then put her name, because he knows she's a traitor, so if she's got double cross him straight away, he could and did start putting her name out.
That
So
was
it was a
but
silly
he tried,
mistake.
but he didn't really succeed with it, did he? So
No,
because
I don't know, I think right at that last moment, I think he might have.
maybe
with
at the
Leanne.
maybe at the round table, but up until then they had the breakfast, and then they were sat down and they were all having conversations with one another. And Alexander was being very direct with Charlotte. Charlotte didn't like that very much. Went then running to Jake and Leanne, saying to Jake and Leanne, "Well, I'm not sure about Alexander. I'm definitely not sure." So she was actually throwing out Alexander's name as well, kind of going against her Freddy plan.
She was panicking.
Leanne was inclined to agree with Charlotte, but then Alexander kind of directly accused Leanne of lying, saying that she got recruited and she was pretending that they tried to murder her. Leanne was like, "I'm not lying." He was like, "You would say that." Then
Although
he
Leanne
walked
liked
off.
that because that was their one genuine conversation they've had, and she liked that conversation.
She had another conversation after the game, and that was
yeah.
the genuine conversation she had, which she mentioned at the round table.
Oh,
I
yeah,
feel
yeah.
like Mina and Alexander actually had mutual respect at this point.
Mina.
Sorry, Leanne, my bad. Have mutual respect at this point. I felt like I think Leanne kind of has lost the strong doubt against Alexander, especially with the result.
Ever since Joe's gone, she's softened.
Well, I mean, let's be honest with you. Ever since Joe's gone, which was episode 9, the beginning of episode 9, this series has just been phenomenal, hasn't it? Though.
Yeah, there has been a big difference.
I mean, a lot of people have said that this has been a bit of a series of traitors. It's been good, of course, because it's the traitors. But like up until episode 9, last night's episode was brilliant. Tonight's episode is just mind blowing. I cannot wait for the final tomorrow. It's normally UK though goes by about episode 4 and 5, or sometimes as early as like 3. So. I know. I just feel sorry for Freddy because like Freddy did genuinely try to get Alexander's name out there, Charlotte's name out there, and no one believed him. He even said like, "Oh, Alexander's been saying Freddy," and they were like, sorry, Alexander's been saying Charlotte," and everyone was like, "No, it's not Charlotte. It can't be Charlotte."
No.
So that was a shame for
the thing
Freddy.
is, Freddy was just in a bad position because being a traitor on episode 10 after being a faithful for all that time, it's basically impossible, and he wasn't prepared to be a traitor.
No.
Like when he went to the breakfast table, Leanne questioned him about the shield, and then he made up that lie saying Mina told him.
God, that was ridiculous, wasn't
And
it? He
it's like-
kept tying himself in knots over that. So
it's
he's
because he was trying to lie quickly on his feet, and he's got no practice being a traitor, and then being it suddenly in the semi-final, it's basically impossible.
Well,
I don't think you can do it.
He said when he walked into the breakfast room, he felt sick and like he just didn't like to lie. He said, I cannot lie, and this is a problem for me. So, which it made me genuinely believe that he wasn't so Tory after all, because a Tory can lie and Freddy cannot. So bless him. He tied himself in knots. That was his undoing ultimately after all of it, because he said that Mina told him that Leanne had the shield, and then the time of when Mina told him kept changing. So first of all, he said it was before the round table, then he said it was after the round table, then they reminded him to say that Mina was banished. So how could he have said anything to him? He was
also
like,
Leanne, Leanne was like, "Well, Mina didn't actually know," and then he was like, "Well, she saw you smile and told me," and she was like, "I didn't smile." It's all of it. None of it made sense, but I don't really know how else he could have lied his way out of it.
Well, unfortunately, he jumped straight away into the Mina told me you had a shield. If he had just waited 2 minutes, Frankie came out with the reasoning that actually it didn't really matter if they knew, because they could have recruited Leanne. Frankie was the first one to mention, like, actually they could have recruited Leanne and made out that she
Leanne's
got
lying.
yeah, so Leanne's lying. So if Freddy had just had a moment, you're right, Freddy's not been primed for this scenario as not being a traitor.
He's not ruthless like Charlotte. Charlotte. She's been lying since before she was even a faithful or traitor. She's lying on the train.
She's using her Welsh lilt to convince people that she's a good person, but she's not at all. She's mean and horrible, and she
wears rainbow jumpers to make people think she's nice.
She got rid of our Freddy, and it's not very nice. I'm telling you, not very nice at all.
I don't actually mind Charlotte. Actually,
I like Charlotte too.
She's done quite she's done quite a good job as a traitor, and what she did had to be done, but it's just the same because Freddy's kind of like Mr. Innocent, and it's just a bit sad because he's been a faithful, but he's been accused this whole time, and then the one day he's a traitor, he then gets voted out and has to say he's a traitor, and it's like, oh.
We did say though in the last episode that Freddy must have known that he was going to be thrown under the bus, and really what would have been the more intelligent thing would be to die. But then I suppose his final parting gift of the round table kind of maybe helped him out, and it helped the team out, and it did show that he was a true faithful at the end, because he was doing it to help the faithful, and I think that also helped with the choice of the Seer. However,
I think so.
How did we get to the choice of the Seer?
We went down a hill into the forests.
Yeah,
followed Claudia.
Went for a picnic.
That's where she told
found
them
3
all.
houses. One was straw, one was brick, and one was Anyway, I'm talking nonsense.
So all of them had 3 challenges to do, which was
from the past.
Memories of the past challenges.
The clown challenge.
Yes, the worst one.
Well, they had
all the worst ones.
Well, this one was better.
Yeah, this one, but like the memories of them, they were the worst challenges of the series. But yeah, they had to gather money together, and like whoever earned the most out of them got to be a seer, which is what a few people spotted 2 episodes ago.
We spotted. Thank you very much. Don't make out that I hadn't said that. I know it wasn't you who spotted that. It was me, and you don't like it when I'm right for a change. But my goodness, my friend, I had spotted it. I pointed it. Don't look at me like that.
I'm
with
listening
doubt in
to
your
what
eyes.
you spotted.
Well, I said that I didn't say outright that I knew it was the Seer game, but I said, wouldn't it be interesting if one of the players were able to find the identity of another player and they had to keep it to themselves? True. And I was right. Give me my kudos. Come on.
Alexander was
nothing.
I'm talking about the actual Alexander now. Alexander was really nice during this game, wasn't he?
But he was nice because he wanted Frankie on his team. Let's be honest. So Frankie had noticed that Alexander has been super nice to her for the last couple of days, and he was collecting coins essentially for Frankie because he wanted Frankie to choose him
and trust him
as the Seer so he could be trusted. Now, immediately, I would say that that's a good trust exercise also for the group, because he outright said, pick me. Now, you wouldn't say that unless you were faithful.
Yeah, exactly.
So 100% that has to prove to the group that Alexander is a faithful, regardless of whether Frankie chose him or not.
So it even softened the ice heart of Leanne. So, it must have worked slightly within the group.
Well, it helped also that they found out that Freddy was a traitor, and Leanne thought it was either Freddy or Alexander. It was found out it was Freddy. So that, again, kind of takes Alexander's name off the chopping block as well. Now we have to see whether Jake and Leanne, because let's be honest, they're the close-knit two, whether they decide to finish the game together and just them two, or whether they're happy to share the money further. They're at £73,600 at the moment. I predict that their last challenge will be another 20, and so they'll get to 93,600 by the end.
That's okay.
Oh, what's that? Split 4 ways?
They ain't splitting it 4 ways.
that's just under 22 grand each. So that's okay.
Lovely.
22
in Canada,
grand's nice.
That's not even a year's wage.
In Canada,
the woman said, I can't remember what she said.
In Canada, that's as high as it goes. That's why they fight so hard to be the only one left.
So they had the clown game, the dolls,
where they had to pull the cord. It's a bit like a game. Do you remember a game show hosted by Chris Tarrant called The Colour of Money?
I don't know, what year was that.
That was
early 90s again,
late 90s, early 2000s.
No,
where you had to choose a colour and then you had to keep going until you thought you should stop. Otherwise, you go bankrupt on that amount of money. Exact same game. So you pulled the cord, won £100. Pull the cord again, £200. But if they say you're too greedy, then that's nothing. You go home with nothing.
It's called risk or reward.
Oh, there you go. You've done it. It's summed up much better.
3 words.
I made a reference to an old game show that only had 1 season. You actually summed up.
Well, they do
better.
risk and reward a lot in video games, just so everyone knows.
Okay,
you can keep going, but you may lose everything. Game over. So
there was a game on the Big Breakfast called Stop the Mop.
Big Breakfast. What year was that?
That was the mid-90s, and you see a video sequence of a mop moving around. And it would touch objects, and you had to stop the mop before it found the mop bucket.
Right.
If it found the mop bucket, then you won none of the prizes that it touched.
Okay, so my 3 words, you've now doubled your explanation into 2 90s references.
But I'm just saying, it's an old concept.
Was the doll one your favourite of the 3? I thought it was the best one to watch.
Did you? I actually,
it was the most tense.
It was the most exciting, I suppose. I
thought
liked
it was
the clown
unfair
one.
what happened to Alexander and Jake, though. Like, they literally pulled it twice, and then it was like nothing. It's like, well, that's not fair.
Especially Alexander, because his was £200 and then nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
And Jake's was £300 and then nothing. So Alexander quite rightly suggested maybe if Jake started at 300, perhaps mine's now going up, and it didn't. Freddie, did Freddie get?
Freddie
else
lost
went out?
as well.
Freddie lost as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, good.
But the one who did it win, which we know, was Francesca.
Francesca.
So big thanks to Alexander.
Thanks to Alexander, because on the last game, which I've named on here, Hoist for the Cage, which is a reference to the return of Jack, Fozy, and Alexander.
Yes.
Who remembers Jack? No one. See,
I do.
you do.
He's got a market. Stall.
Swimming. You had to find.
Who
as many
remembers
coins-
Yin?
Oh,
I do.
I remember Yin too.
Yin-
She said
Yin
a
needs to
poem.
come
Do
back
you remember
for
the
All
poem
Stars.
she said at the end? Her
No,
end,
I've not
episode
I've
1.
not recited it, but
She didn't even get past episode 1.
I know.
They didn't even give her the beginning of episode 2.
Yin should be on all the Traitors versus the World, UK versus the world.
Well, we talked about the world version on the US podcast, so don't forget to listen to that on Sunday. And they had to find as many coins, put it in the cage, and then they had to hoist it within 5 minutes, but they weren't giving time checks, so they had to basically guess when they thought it was the end of time. Francesca thought there was 30 seconds left. They all hoisted their cage, and then they found out they all had 2 minutes left.
That was a bit of like a Survivor challenge, wasn't it? Where you have to
It was.
count in your head and then let something go or whatever.
It was very much a Survivor
There
challenge.
you go. There's my reference for everyone that's...
What year's
spans
Survivor?
the
Which version?
2000.
The remake or the original on
The
ITV?
only one I've seen is the UK one.
Yeah, I'm saying the original or the remake.
I've seen all of them.
You've seen all of them?
Yeah.
Okay,
the
so
original.
So when's the
when the
original?
woman-
When was the original then?
I
I'm
don't
asking
know.
you.
2000 and...
It was 2000
Two.
because it was the same year as Big Brother.
Millennium.
And they made two series, and then they brought it back from the BBC last year.
Yeah, it was good last year. I liked it.
I hated it.
Well, you didn't watch it.
Yeah, so there you go.
It was good. Apart from Joel wasn't a very good presenter on it. Joel
Dommett.
But the cast were really good. Apart from the person who won. He keeps coming up on my TikTok and he's really annoying. He's like, I'm going to spend the night sleeping in the bush in a roundabout. And it's like, sorry.
No, he's one of them, is he?
I'm going to sleep in the middle of this lake. And it's like, what's going on? Anyway.
He's found marginal fame,
He
and now
didn't
he's
deserve,
desperate to
he
keep
didn't
hold of
deserve
it.
to win. But
No.
anyway, we're not talking about the Survivor UK because it's on ice and cancelled.
Dancing on Ice.
That should be cancelled as well. So yeah, we're back to the
Round table.
Games round table, yes.
So Frankie got the Seer. She found out that out at the end of the round table after Freddy got the eviction because basically Freddy
His lies.
screwed himself over with a little help from Charlotte.
And I did enjoy Freddy. The whole episode just stared at Charlotte. He was just drinking cups of tea, staring at her. Not saying anything, just staring at her, making her feel uncomfortable. So I like that.
And also each time...
And it worked a little bit.
Each
I
time
feel.
someone voted for Freddy at the round table, he kept looking at Charlotte, and Charlotte just kept uncomfortably looking down at the table.
Every
not saying
single person
anything.
who voted for him, he said, they were like, sorry, I didn't mean, I like you. And he's like, it's okay, don't worry. It's okay, don't worry. And then her,
Charlotte.
nothing.
Death.
Death stare. And then
Death
he
stare.
voted for Charlotte as well.
Yes, which you said Leanne picked up on.
Yes, I'm pretty sure Leanne did. And obviously Francesca did too, because she then picked Charlotte. So I think she also, because she was really close with Freddy, wasn't she? Mm-hmm. And I think she picked up that he's a traitor.
Mm-hmm.
He seems a bit reluctant and a bit all of a sudden. Like, I think she picked up that he's a new traitor and his last vote was a hint.
Yeah, I think Frankie's been hurt twice now. She said at the round table that she trusted and was charmed by Mina. That's why choosing Freddy was a hard decision for her. And because Freddy was almost, as you say, giving that clue, I think even though she said to Claudia, I just want to confirm, well, she basically spelled it out, didn't she? I want to confirm my suspicions that Charlotte is 100% faithful.
And the one person she thinks is a faithful.
The one person that Frankie could have chosen, and it's Charlotte, the last traitor. And at the end of the round table, when Frankie had left, she went to Charlotte went to the whole group and went, hey guys, do you think there's like all the traitors gone? That's 4. That's all the traitors gone. So she was still pushing her agenda. And so she may have shot herself in the foot there, because if someone can remember that she had said that, Frankie will then confirm to everyone Charlotte is a traitor. Technically, they could get her out on the very first round table of the final and do not need to do the fire pit at all. It's there. It's there for them to win. It's now, I think we're boiling down to who wants more money. Is there a selfish turn coming?
Depends if like Leanne and Jake team up and get rid of Alexander and I don't know. Yeah, but like it couldn't have been like a better end to the episode of her picking Charlotte.
So
out
good.
of the odds of that, I bet because I said to you, I bet the producers are just like, I can't believe this has happened. Like the odds of it, because for a bit it was Leanne was going to win and she was just going to bring Freddy or whatever. And then Alexander was like, take me. And then, well, that wouldn't be that exciting. But knowing that it's Charlotte, I do feel sorry for Charlotte though, because like how sick would you feel when Claudia literally goes, oh, she's picked you. You literally shit yourself.
And you have to do it face to face as well. You have to sit on
champagne.
this small table. Yeah, with a glass of champagne in front of you.
And also, like,
I'm
what
a traitor.
happens after? Like, you say, oh, yeah, I'm a traitor. You burn the evidence. You write it down, don't you? I think Claudia said. And
yes, and they read it,
other.
and then they burn it.
Yeah, and then it's like, well, then you have to then the next day, she's going to basically have to sabotage Francesca, her closest friend.
It's very much going to be Charlotte's word against Frankie's.
So you really do.
But
have
they know
to be
Frankie's
really
got the power.
ruthless
Why would Frankie lie?
in case she's a traitor? That's what Charlotte's going to have to say.
Charlotte did say that as well.
Yeah, she's going to say, I'm going to have to make it look like Francesca's a traitor.
You're right.
That's going to be difficult with Freddy being a traitor and her and him being so. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but Jake and Leanne are so adamant that Charlotte is a faithful. But they have to remember
they've got to get Freddy's last vote was.
They have to remember that. And when Freddy went out,
Alexander's a bit suspicious of Charlotte because he kept looking at her when Freddy was staring at her in that room.
And Alexander pointed out that because Mina went out on the last round table and Mina and Freddy were hashing it out at the round table, and Alexander said, not thinking that Freddy was actually a traitor for longer than he actually was, he said that was traitor on traitor at the last round table. So
Freddy would do it again.
So Freddy would do it again with Charlotte. So yeah, if Alex can just everyone could just remember the things they said at the end of the round table.
Alex will. I think he's good at that. Also, he's been trying to build that bridge with Francesca, so he should believe what she says. She could say to him, "This is what happened." I think she could twist Leanne, and I don't know about Jake. He's very stuck in his ways in all the way through.
Jake will do what Jake wants to do. Let's be honest with you. But Jake also likes to feel like he's influenced. So they need to find a way of making Jake think it was his idea. If they can think of a way of making Jake, Jake thinks this was his idea, whatever they end up doing, then Jake will be on board.
I mean, I was like kind of wanting a traitor win like a few episodes ago. And I wouldn't be that upset if Charlotte wins, but at the same time, now that I've got these final 4 faithfuls, I don't mind a faithful win.
But this is the first again with Joe gone. With Joe gone, this is the first time.
When does this count as bullying?
I know, I'm sorry, Jay. But with him gone, it's the first time where I like the faithful now. I actually like Leanne as well.
Yeah, she's softened. The Ice Queen has softened.
Yeah, she's softened. But I think she's had a long game as well. Jake's had quite an easy path. No offense to Jake, it's been a hard game for everyone. But I think
some harder.
Some have had a harder game than others, and I think Leanne has had, and Alexander, I must say, but they've not made it easy for each other either. Leanne and Alexander, because they've made it hard for each other too.
I think it was hard for Leanne because she was really close to Mina too. So, and Alexander's just been ever since he was pulled in from that lake. He's just been
the card game,
attacked.
and they brought in the card game as well. And to be fair, again, they kind of said like, we're really sorry for the way we've been acting around you, Alexander, but because of that death game that you had to play, we've always been suspicious of you. So from the moment they came from the cages to the death game to now, Alexander has had a heck of a road.
Yeah, but he deserves a win because he's so sweet. He's just really nice, isn't he?
But imagine if we find out that Alexander's actually a complete and utter arsehole, and that we've been really lovely. Like Joe, we've been like, oh, Joe. But Joe's a great guy. And Alexander, we've been, oh, Alexander, what a softie. And then he's been an arsehole.
I don't believe it. I've seen him by the fireplace.
With his Darcy shirt on and his glass of wine, yes.
No,
and
he's far too sweet.
He did apologise of how he spelled Mina's name as well.
No one ever does that.
No. Not me too. That's lovely.
So there you go. So yeah, ending on a really good cliffhanger with Francesca and Charlotte having to admit. Francesca doesn't have to say what she is, does she?
Yes.
Oh, she does?
Yes.
Okay. So they both hand each other a letter then and say, I am. And then
I am Trayful.
I wonder how it's going to... It's literally like the most worst awkward situation
It's a great
ever.
cliffhanger. It's a great moment.
Like, and Charlotte, I'd hate to be... Charlotte having to say that because she's like a nice person, but she's had to play. I don't know. It's just horrible.
I think for the past 2 years, the Traitors has had a clip that's been nominated for What's wrong with me? BAFTA Moment of the Year, the BAFTA Awards in the UK, they have a moment of the year, and the Traitors have had one. Seer's was the last year's, and I forget what was. It was the red table.
Yeah, the girl. Yeah, he's
the girl saying that's my girlfriend in the first year. So I genuinely feel, for me, I know there's been lots of people saying this has to be that moment. This has to be the moment. I think tomorrow's episode, right at the beginning, when you see Frankie and Charlotte swap those pieces of paper together, that's going to be the moment of the year, because that's going to be such a oh my god.
And Charlotte has to play a really horrible, ruthless game the next day to survive it.
Like,
there's no way to do that in a nice way.
No,
she's going to have to be really horrible, and it's someone that she's really close to, so it's just literally the worst situation, but also the best situation for us
it's going to be great television, and it's going to be appointment television, and we will be recording immediately after the final has aired. Unfortunately, because of copyright laws, we're not allowed to do what we normally do, and that is watch it live, so we can give a live reaction. But believe you me, we'll have lots and lots to talk about after the final of the UK Series 3. So please make sure that you subscribe to us after listening to this on YouTube or any of your favourite podcast apps, so you can make sure you get the final episode in your inbox ASAP, and you can join in the fun with us.
And it's your last chance to get in messages to us as well.
Absolutely. So email us faithfultothetraitors@gmail.com. You can comment underneath this video. On YouTube, just search Faithful to the Traitors Podcast, subscribe, ring the bell, like, and all that beguffin. You can find us on X, where you can send us a DM if you want, @Traitors Podcast. The same can be said about Instagram, @Faithful to the Traitors. Send us a DM on there. If you like the podcast, don't forget to share us with your friends. It's not too late to share us. You've got one more episode. And you can also help us with the podcast by going to buymeacoffee.com/faithful, where if you do give us a silver bar, we will, and you attach a comment to it, as we always say, we will always read out your comment, because it's pay to say. But we do appreciate all of your donations. Honestly, it's been so great to see so much support on this series this year, and it's been so fun recording it. So please just give us one goodbye by sending us an email of what your theories and your thoughts of the series has been.
Lovely. So when we see you next time, we'll know the winner or winners of the Traitors.
Oh no, there can't be no winners, can there? Because there's only one traitor.
Oh yeah, that's true. There's no traitor dilemma.
No.
But until then, everyone, stay faithful.